and there's nobody here with me.
And already threatening early on. Early start here in Syracuse. And the Orange fans getting their first look at the 2018 squad. Hofstra still searching for their first victory of the campaign. 0-2-1. Syracuse evened up at 1-1. Dana Gray and Jackson Agello here with you at the SU Soccer Stadium. Syracuse trying to get back to their winning ways at home. Perennially known, especially in 2015 and 2016, for being pretty dominant right here. Last year, a bit different.
Syracuse just 2 wins last year at home, and Coach McIntyre said, you know, this team needs to make that a point of emphasis for this season. When you look at this Syracuse team traditionally, as you mentioned, Dana, in those years with success, that had been an issue for this team, and that's a main talking point as we come into this season.
Syracuse, the victory over Oregon State. That came back on Thursday, and then they fell just 2 nights later against Portland. And hoping to get right back into the win column. They've recorded 3 points with that torrent ACC schedule, opening up quickly. John Austin Ricks possessing for Syracuse, hands it off for Del Hamel. Feeds the ball forward towards the 18-yard box. Contact, and no call made. Going back the other way for Hofstra, but controlled down by Zugner. Feeding it back for Hendrik Hilpert, the senior from Germany. And boy, has he had quite the career for the Orange here at SU.
Dana, he's been a very important player for this Syracuse team in his senior year. He has experience at all levels for this Syracuse team, playing in that Final Four a couple years ago.
And on the opposing side, Alex Ashton, another senior. He's from England. He earned that outright starting job last year for the Pride, and he's been the starter ever since. He went 5-6-6 last year. So far, 0-2-1. Played every single minute for Hofstra. He's made a ton of saves, though, through just those 3 matches.
15 saves, Dana, so far for Ashton. And you look back at their last game, losing 2-0 again to Colgate, a ranked team. Things could have been a lot worse for that Hofstra team, if not for Alex Ashton.
Fed forward, but Hendrik Hilpert waiting for it patiently. 3 minutes in at Syracuse, no score. The Orange and Hofstra meeting up for the 3rd time all-time. Series knotted up at 1 apiece. Back in 2015 at the Hofstra Soccer Stadium, Syracuse victorious. And then since then, it's been evened up at 1. Fed forward, a high cross. Corral at the end line and flicked right back in and called off. Phenomenal defensive play out in front. Velarde stabbing it right off the line, and Hofstra survives early.
And Dana, on that play, you saw Sorley initiating as he flicks it into the box on that play. The junior out of Norway has a lot of technical skill in that final third.
The freshman already making something happen early on here. Just 4 minutes in, and that's something to watch all afternoon. Sorley from Norway, the freshman, just a touch.
And that's something he was known for at Gardner-Webb, being able to create chances, have a nice touch, just a good feel for the game around in that box.
Play over on the far sideline. Corralled by the Orange defense momentarily. As Syracuse hopes to get the ball going back the other way, and they do just that. The foul committed. Tosh will pick it up on his tab, the freshman from Germany as well. A lot of international, top to bottom, especially with Hofstra. As you get a look at Ian McIntyre, his 9th season with Syracuse. And he had a lot to say at us about this club for 2018 and what a special group he thinks it could be.
And Dana, about this special group, he just mentioned some of the diversity on this team. He loves that about it.
Raposo puts it in, looking for Buchanan, and it's fought away. Drubbed all the way up to midfield. That's something to watch out for. Buchanan He's very dangerous in tight there, Jackson.
He's been known for his ability to wreak havoc with his speed and foot skill. In talking to some of the players last year, Del Hamel and Adams said, when he has the ball, sometimes you feel like you're watching him and not playing with him.
This is the final game for the Orange before they begin ACC play. That's no small feat with Notre Dame coming to town on the 7th, and it doesn't get easier from there. Trying to bring the through ball, and Zugner laying down the body. Now on the near side, Hebeker. He takes his step down the sideline, cuts back in, and Buchanan will pick up the trash and start on his horse back the other way. Finds out wide Raposo, a touch in, and lots of open space for the freshman. Sends it out wide for Farron, one of the many Ontario players here for Syracuse. Farron with it, a strike through, touched on, just over the bar. Off the cleat of Hagman, Syracuse that close once again.
In talking to Coach McIntyre before this game, he said Mo Farron is someone to watch out for in creating in that final third. On that play, he sets up Hagman right by the goal. A big opportunity for Syracuse right there early on in this game, Dana.
Hagman, the senior, he started all 18 games last year for the Orange and made his collegiate debut all the way back in 2015 against this very Hofstra Pride Club.
Coming full circle for him.
Coming very full circle. As he starts out his senior campaign, one of the leaders on this Orange club. Two captains, Hendrik Hilpert, the senior goaltender, no surprise there, along with Kamal Miller, senior from Pickering, Ontario. He's not getting the start tonight. It's the freshman, Michael Lantry, native of Syracuse. He gets the call from Coach Mack. Put up out of play. And the Pride will retain possession under the tutelage of Richard Noodle. 30th season. Pretty impressive stuff considering all of the time that you spend with one team, and he's picked up the accolades as well.
Nadal been with this team for so long now, Dana, and really coming into his own. CAA Coach of the Year back in 2016. He actually won it back-to-back one in 2015 as well.
Winningest coach in program history. He's got his son on the club as well, Jack, native of Long Island, so some family connections with the Pride. Velarde on the far side to throw it in, headed on towards Hilpert, and he'll just let it go into the netting for a goal kick.
And long throw-ins there for Hofstra. You're going to look for the Pride to try and do that a lot tonight. Coach McIntyre said with the size of this Hofstra team, that's a way that he felt the Pride would try and attack the Orange.
Well, it's been quite some time since Hofstra found the back of the net. They scored 2 goals just over a week ago against Dayton in a 2-2 tie. And since then, contests against Ohio State and Colgate, they've been held scoreless. Raposo on the far side. The Orange hoping to break things open here. Del Hamel takes a step. Feeds a touch on towards the 18-yard box, and that back line for Hofstra standing tall early. Brown, he'll get to it. 4 shots to lead the Pride so far through 3 games. He's been held off the score sheet, though. You see Hilpert well out of the box, helping out with the defense. Starting 4 for Syracuse of Norheim, Austin Ricks, Lantry, and Zugner. Couple of underclassmen in Lantry, the freshman, and Norheim, the sophomore. Played back the other way, and Hofstra gets rid of it.
You're going to look
like
to see
Syracuse is getting the early touches here, and definitely the early offensive opportunities.
Syracuse with the foot on the gas pedal. That's the style of play Coach McIntyre wants to see from this team, and that's what's been going on so far. The Pride are vulnerable in that area. Look back the last game against Colgate. Obviously, Dana losing 2-0. In that game, both those goals, as we saw, came in transition.
Syracuse 2-1 victors against Oregon State to begin the campaign. Then dropped a tough one against Portland. Had that 1-0 lead going into the half, but couldn't keep it. Flicked into the box and let go all the way back to Ashton. Waiting for it, the senior goalkeeper is. 10 minutes in, still no score. Ashton fighting the sun. It's been pouring down all day at the SU Soccer Stadium. Temperatures in the high 80s. Start of September and some nice weather for soccer. They play ping pong in the orange end, and that leads for Raposo breaking, trying to feed it through. And Ashton with a big boot clobbers it back.
A little premature there on the pass from Raposo. Could have taken another touch, let the play develop a little bit more.
To the near sideline, Hebeker gets to it, working on his defender, draws contact, and finally scooted away back towards midfield. That's someone to watch out for, Hendrik Hebeker. He's got 2 shots through 3 games. Buchanan goes down. Coach McIntyre calling for a penalty. All he'll get is the offsides call.
A lot of action at both ends there, Dana. It starts with Zugner making a quality defensive play, the graduate transfer showing his experience in the final third for the Orange.
Raposo with time and space. Square for Del Hamel. Senior from France. Saw a lot of action last year in Orange. He led the club with 6 assists, a great distributor. Coach McIntyre couldn't say enough good things. Raposo with time, lets it go, and it flies high over the bar.
Syracuse early on really trying to work that far side of the field, top side of your screen at home. And so far they've been able to whip a lot of chances into the box there. That time obviously sailing well over the bar.
Syracuse home opener at the SU Soccer Stadium. They're 17-4-1 in that occurrence since the stadium opened in 1996. Not a bad record to have, and Jackson, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but considering how good SU has been at home, that should come as no surprise.
Especially with what's built over time. In that time frame, that's the tenure of Ian McIntyre as he's started to build this program. Those things coincide and overlap, and that's why you've seen this team start to build, and that's why we have such an excited crowd here today, Dana.
Raposo cleverly keeps it in and feeds it for Farron. Square pass for Hagman. As the Orange tries to spread the field, nicely intercepted though. A speedy midfielder, Soyford on it. Stuck between his legs, and Hagman back to kick it out. Both these teams feeling each other out early on. About a third of the way through this opening half. Hofstra is no small non-conference opponent. Coach McIntyre well aware of the problems that they can pose. They played a top 25 team in Colgate on Thursday. Fell 2-0, but showed some good signs of life.
Historically been a team, as McIntyre said, that's both played and beat good teams.
Last year, Syracuse 6-8-4. Big problem, though, the lack of wins in conference play. They had none, 0-6-2 in the ACC. Now, Jackson, when we talk about college soccer, it doesn't get much more difficult than the ACC.
It's a gauntlet, Dana. Plain and simple. Coach McIntyre acknowledged it and looks forward to it. He wants that challenge for his team, and he believes they have the talent and quality to compete in it this season.
Del Hamel looking to outlet it and finds his man in Raposo on the far sideline. He brings it down with his foot, working on his defender. Cuts inside and puts the shot through, saved, made the rebound, score! Sorely pots it for the Orange, and Syracuse strikes first.
Dana, the man just has a nose for goal, plain and simple. Raposo starts it off the long ball from Del Hamel. Great chance. Ian Ashton gets a piece of it, but not enough. Can't allow that to come back to Sorley. And you see him loving every minute of his SU Soccer Stadium debut. What a way to kick it off for the man from Norway.
2 goals now in 3 games for the junior. And Syracuse gets on the board early on against a Hofstra club that hasn't scored since all the way back against Dayton. Good sign for the Orange. McIntyre up on his feet, approving. And new players for Syracuse. We touched on them in the open. They're producing very early on in this season.
So far in this year, the question marks were who is going to step up for Syracuse. Can this team right away implement that attacking style gas pedal football for Syracuse? They have so far.
Here's Raposo feeding it to the back. And Farron just close to getting on to it. Jackson, that goal, yes, while it may go to the junior, it's all with Ryan Raposo. That rush, you just said it. It seems like that's been the game plan, to get the ball to the freshman from Ontario.
So far what we've seen for Syracuse, you've seen Del Hamel in the middle of the field getting the long balls out wide to Raposo and letting him and Farron work on that side, try and cut the ball in, get the crosses inside, and then let your finishers do their job. That's what Severin Sorley was brought in here to do, score goals. That's what he did at Gardner-Webb, led the running Bulldogs with 29 points there. He's brought that here to Syracuse. In watching his tape, Dana, I mentioned it earlier, he's known for his ability to finish around goal. Right there, you saw it. Some people just have that magnet. He's got it.
Michael Lantry with the throw-in, the freshman from Syracuse, getting his first minutes in orange. Fed through. Raposo tries to cut it back. Nifty defending. And it's played out wide for Meyer. Transfer from Army. He played in 32 games at West Point. He's already scored for Hofstra, one of the 2 goal scorers. Buchanan puts it back for Sorley. John Austin Ricks, the defender, up north and couldn't corral it. Played up. Del Hamel puts it on a tee for Zugner, but he turns it over. And Hilpert once again waiting. Jackson, it seems like the Hofstra Pride not doing a whole lot offensively. They're just trying to get the ball out of their own half.
And they've been struggling to do that, and part of that is the pressure Syracuse plays soccer with. We talked with Coach McIntyre, and he's implemented the exact game plan he wanted to, pedal to the metal, and they keep doing it right now.
Lantry looks to run on to it and puts it on net. Ashton down on his body makes the save. He's been busy through these first 17 minutes. Syracuse leading it 1-0 in their home opener at the SU Soccer Stadium. Play deep into the SU end. And the senior, Hagman, to get to it first. Buchanan streaking down the side, a nifty touch, cuts it back, thought about the shot, getting space, he shoots, it's blocked. Tajon Buchanan, the creativity from 18 yards out. Hofstra survives barely once again.
Oh, that's that foot speed we mentioned earlier, Dana. I think some ankles might need some tape after at halftime.
Buchanan, the sophomore, all ACC third team. Freshman team selection as well last year. He started every single game. That's held true into 2018. Coach McIntyre has found a special talent in the Ontario native. Filardi throws it in. Tausch in a battle. Keeping it on his right foot. Down the sidelines with Lantry, the freshman, defending. Not much time and space. Swung in, but on the ground. And quickly booted away to safety. Syracuse back in action against the Fighting Irish on the 7th. Meanwhile, the Pride, they take on Seton Hall. Another short week for this Hofstra team. We mentioned it, Jackson, playing Colgate just on Thursday night. As the ball is played in, Hilpert waiting for it. A 2-0 defeat. But Colgate, they're ranked 21st in the country. That's a pretty good soccer club.
Syracuse clearly coming in with the energy that you would guess would come from the time off that they've had. Meanwhile, Hofstra looking a little bit lethargic early, struggling to maintain possession. Part of that's Syracuse style, but part of that's just been sloppiness.
Another cross from Raposo, and Buchanan a tad late to it. 20 minutes into action. Sorley, the junior for the Orange, has scored after a beautiful play from the freshman Ryan Raposo. He had the initial shot. Ashton was down on all fours to make the save. Sorley, Johnny on the spot to give SU a 1-0 lead. Hofstra congested in their own end. As this Syracuse midfield really clamping down through the initial part of this first half. Nothing anywhere close of danger to Hilper. Hebeker trying to get past Austin Ricks. And the Orange defender seals it, cuts back and forth. And Hilper will start it out. Norheim feeds to the far side. Touch from Raposo finds no one. Raposo gets it back and quickly returns the favor. We welcome SU head coach Ian McIntyre midway through this first half. Coach, thanks so much for spending some time with us. Got to be pretty happy with the opening first 20 minutes.
Yes, it's been a good start. Look, it's a hot day out here, but I think we've started well. That goal will kind of settle us down as well, and I think our ball movement's been pretty good, and we've created some chances. It's now about trying to get that second one.
Coach, you said you wanted this team to try and impose that foot on the gas pedal mentality. How would you assess the squad's ability to do that so far?
No, it's been a good first 20 minutes. The game, the tempo's kind of dropped down a little bit last few minutes. But when we switch the point of attack, when we get in behind their wide guys, we're really causing them some problems. Here's Raposo going again, and if we get in there, we're really hurting them in behind. So if we can keep moving it side to side, I think we're going to continue to have chances.
Coach, it's been a few months since you played a game here at SU Soccer Stadium. How great is it to be back in front of the Orange faithful?
Oh, it's wonderful to be home. Look, all the guys will tell you that we've been waiting for this opportunity to kind of kick off our home season. We all realize and recognize the privilege and honor it is to play here for Syracuse, and we enjoy playing in front of our home fans.
Coach, we appreciate the time, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Syracuse leading 1-0. Severin Sorley with the goal in the 14th minute for the Orange. That's the only marker so far. And a close chance there during our conversation. Ian McIntyre loving the play from Raposo early on in this half, and he'd seen some flashes on the road trip out west. The freshman from Germany, Tash, finds Hebeker working on his defender. Left-footed cross in, contact made. Brown will get to it in the box, try and send it back here. And Austin Ricks the flick on, not out though. Played by the end line, contact, and the whistle goes. Hauled down was Hebeker on that far post, and Austin Ricks just couldn't get the clear.
Dana, he gets the arm and the lower back there. I think that's a little bit of embellishment there, but when you extend that arm, that's easier for the referee to see. That'll be a penalty for Hofstra.
The Orange leading 1-0, though possibly not for long. Hendrik Hilpert hoping the scoreline stays at that as Luke Brown, the junior from England, gets to the spot. Hofstra hasn't scored since their opening game against Dayton. That changes. Tie ball game at the SU Soccer Stadium as Luke Brown scores for the Pride.
Third team All-CAA last season was Luke Brown, and you saw that composure there. He had his spot. He didn't overthink it, pounded it low and away. That's the goal, evens the scoreline in this ball game.
Interestingly enough, it was really the first golden opportunity for the Pride. They earned the PK. Hilpert guessing right, but that just placed well out of his reach.
Hammered low and away. A well-placed penalty will not be saved.
Oscar Ramsey in as a substitution for the Pride. Junior from New Zealand, appeared in all 18 games last year for Hofstra. He's seen action in all 3 so far. He gets a touch here and drops it for Brown, the goal scorer. Hebeker, patient, waiting for the man to run on. It's Seufert. Contact by the end line, and Hilpert will get a goal kick.
Nice physical play there by Zegner at the end line there, using that much of that 6'4", 190 frame.
We'll see what kind of response the Orange has. They had the majority of the chances in the opening 20 minutes, and all it took was one Hofstra opportunity in the box to earn the penalty kick from the spot. And we're all knotted up with 21 minutes to go in the opening half.
Conceding penalties been a problem for this team, Dana.
Raposo streaking into the box, tries to get the shot through, and slid all the way down, defending from the senior Nealis. Coach McIntyre bringing him up to us is one of those staunch defenders that this Pride team has on the back line.
A lot of size at the back end for this Hofstra team, and they really rely on Nealis and his experience along with Lindquist.
He started now all 4 games for Hofstra. Shots relatively even, though the quality of chances surely seems like the Orange has that category under lock.
Really, the 3 shots from Hofstra have not been of the same quality as the ones for Syracuse.
It was a flick from Hagman in the first 5 minutes that just went over the post. And finally, Sora Lee found the back of the net. But the Pride has responded. We'll see what SU has in store. Farron with speed loses it. Torn defense from Nealis once again. And the whistle blows. It's going back towards Hilpert.
Nealis, that just goes, Davey, on your left leg.
On this play, you saw Farron just lost the ball behind him and then trying to win it back gets just a little bit too physical. When the referee sees that much bouncing around early on, he's going to give you the call.
Frustration possibly as well. You think you've got a good chance and you get your pocket picked. You want to get it right back. Marcus Lindquist, the senior from Norway, boots it end over end. Crowd down to his feet by Brown, and he launches it, sending Hilpert back. Luke Brown, goal scorer for the Pride. Coming from the spot as the Orange goes to the substitutions. Billy Goldhar, freshman from Toronto, he gets some action. And Coach McIntyre, he was very fond of the freshman's play in his 2 first games.
He's really liked how the newcomers have played so far. Goldhar gives him another option because he's a left-footed player, especially you see some corners. It gives Syracuse another option to swing the ball in a different way.
Buchanan to Hagman, tries to play it through, and it goes right off of the left hand of Seufert.
In case the referee didn't see that one, the crowd was all over that one as well.
And that draws the set piece. Hugo Del Hamel takes the majority of these for the Orange. Ever dangerous and great with the service into the box. We'll see what he has in store here. Multiples waiting in the box. Del Hamel. Buchanan! Orange lead!
What a service in from Hugo Del Hamel, setting up Buchanan. Beats everybody to the back post, unmarked. That quickness, agility, and foot speed again, wreaking havoc across this Pride defense. You see, first one to the ball, heads it in the back of the net. 2-1 Syracuse.
Del Hamel puts it right on the forehead of Tajon Buchanan. His 2nd goal of the season. And the Orange takes the lead right back. It's now 2-1 Syracuse. It's the first point of the campaign for Del Hamel. Mentioned he led the Orange in assists last year. And he picks up #1 of 2018.
A lot more quality so far in that final third today, finding the back of the net for the Orange. Coach McIntyre, talking to him earlier this week, he mentioned that. He mentioned that this team needed to find the finish at the end. They'd had the services, but they needed that quality at the end, and they've had it so far tonight.
Not even 30 minutes gone, already 3 goals between the Pride and the Orange. Syracuse hoping for victory number 2. The Pride looking to get their first one. Brown runs onto it, puts it in on the ground, and Hilpert dives to his knees. Senior goalkeeper taking no chances. Space on the bar side for the freshman Lantry. Touch for Raposo. Couple of newcomers for the Orange playing catch as Syracuse looks for that ever-important 2-goal lead now. Here comes Brown, 1 against 4. Lofts the ball towards the sideline, and it's up and out of play. Our next Syracuse men's soccer broadcast on ACC Network Extra is Friday, September 7th, as the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame travel to Central New York to face the Orange. Game time is set for 7 p.m. You can follow the Orange all season long on the ACC Network Extra. That, of course, the beginning of ACC play for Syracuse, and for some teams, for some conferences, there'll be a bit more learning curve towards the season. Not with the ACC.
And Coach McIntyre emphasized that with us in talking to him earlier this week. He mentioned they only have 8 weekends to play, so they'd rather squeeze them in early.
Buchanan finds the loose ball. Slid away. Austin Ricks, the defender, playing all the way down the sideline. The substitution, Goldhar. Back for Ricks offensively. Tries to fight off the pressure. Dangerous area. Austin Ricks picks it up and floats it in. Kareem's back and finally lifted out to safety. Seems like every chance SU has an opportunity put into the box, they're doing just that.
There was only that brief lull where Syracuse took the foot off the gas pedal, and that's when Hofstra got the penalty.
Raposo down to his feet, dangles away, and the shot is blocked off the goal line. Ashton was out of position, and the Hofstra defense bails him out.
Raposo in this game seems to constantly be a thorn in the Pride side. Constant chance creation. You see the quickness to get alongside Ashton. But in the end, Lindquist able to knock it away.
Sets up the first corner kick. Del Hamel, no surprise, waiting at the far side. Has a short option. Decides to swing it in. Flicked on. Hagman back into the box. Turning with it, shooting! Norheim floats it wide.
What a swinger in from Del Hamel. Creates a little bit of problems. It's the second hitter. You want to win that second ball. The Orange does just that. And that'll Kareem outside for another corner for the Orange.
It's another defenseman for Syracuse that's getting some action and moving up front. We've seen John Austin Ricks involved heavily. Now Norheim with a close chance. Del Hamel. Flicked on. Farron couldn't get his shot through. Corralled back. Played for Goldhar. Goldhar on his defender. Floated in, and once again, the confident foot of Lindquist to safety. Brown forced down. That draws the whistle. Zugner putting him on the deck.
Zugner's been a physical player so far in this game for the Orange, and you see it right here. Not willing to let a fast break occur against the Orange again with Luke Brown, who so composedly finished that penalty earlier on in this game.
Coaching staff for the Pride not loving it, having their words with the officials as the physicality picks up in the hot central New York sun. Half an hour in, and the Orange leads by a goal. Hagman has it taken away. Ramsey, the substitution, the lone one for the Pride, getting in on the action. Hilly Goldhar, one of the many players for Syracuse from Ontario, And it makes sense when you think about it. Syracuse, probably the closest big school to that Canadian province. It's been a hotbed for soccer talent over the last couple of decades.
Keep dropping, Hags, we're out. Keep dropping.
The junior Brown in a fight with Raposo, who's taken down with contact by O'Malley.
A little bit of chatter between the two things, getting a little chippy in this game. We saw Coach Natal getting a little bit into it with the referees just a couple minutes ago, and then right here, some physical play on that one. Raposo goes down. Raposo just 5'7", 140 pounds, knocked down there. And that's including some muscle he's put on in the past year. He was down at 135 before coming to SU.
Orange goals coming from the foot of Sorley and the forehead of Buchanan. Meanwhile, the lone Hofstra strike, courtesy of Luke Brown from the penalty spot. Addition into the orange lineup, Trianta Lafou will enter. And Hagman out to take a break. He's been active early.
Good.
Fans lining the hill here for the opener at the SU Soccer Stadium. The Orange was on the West Coast last weekend. Picked up one victory. That was against Oregon State. And then fell to Portland. Austin Ricks to the substitution. Trianta Falou. By the end line, it's Goldhar. Peels it back as the Orange offense goes to work. Goldhar in the corner. Goldhar turns the corner and he's shoved down. That was very, very close to the box. We'll see where they mark it.
Goldhar using that quick foot speed to get around the edge, and I think the referee's going to give that foul just ever so outside the box. It'll be a short free kick coming from the Orange.
It is two on the ball.
Del Hamel and Goldhar waiting. Just as close as you could get to a penalty kick without the award.
Where do you need me? Come in here. Come in here. No. Where are you? Huh?
Luca.
It was Del Hamel's service that brought the Orange the lead just moments ago. We'll see if he can extend the advantage here. Put in on the ground, shot, and it's blocked. Friendly fire as Farron had a clean look. Syracuse coming that close to the 2-goal lead once again. And it was blocked away right on the goal line.
What a clean look at a rip there from Farron. He got all of his boot on that one.
Luke Brown, the goal scorer for Hofstra. Miscommunication with Ramsey. And the Pride turn it over. Just over 10 minutes to go in the opening half. Syracuse feeling the offense here through these first 35 minutes.
Syracuse really trying to play that emphasis when talking to Coach McIntyre of getting this team to learn to play fast. You can see that there. 6 shots per game in the first 2. 8 already, and we're not even done with the first half. Clearly, the team is starting to gel with the coach's style.
Coach McIntyre has praised this group. Said it's a fun group of guys to be around. They've got some character. They come from a lot of different backgrounds. And it seems like things are starting to gel. Del Hamel tries to serve it for Buchanan, and it's swatted away. It's been the game plan all evening for the Orange. Those through balls, trying to find Buchanan, the likes of Raposo, Sorley as well, as the Orange offense heats up. Johnson, the sophomore from Connecticut, enters. Hasn't started at all in 2018, but has seen action in every contest. He takes the throw here. Dijamon Johnson on the ground. Back to Hilpert, who switches. Zugner finds Austin Ricks with space. Long ball in. And Trianta Falou just not able to get a touch.
Just a little bit too far on that service Syracuse clearly working the long balls, looking to work the wider areas of the pitch in this game. And that's worked well so far for Syracuse, winning free kicks outside, and that's how they've gotten 2 of the squad's goals.
Peter Meyer, goal scorer for Hofstra, back in their opener. He takes a seat. And Smith Holly checks in. As Coach McIntyre enters some substitutions as well. Peter Strangeland, a sophomore. He'll get touches along with Lucas Rubio, a sophomore from Liverpool. Disagreement over possession. That should come at no surprise as the physicality ramps up in the later stages of this opening half. Zora Lee potting it in the 14th minute. That would give the Orange the lead, but not before Luke Brown would not be denied at the penalty kick spot. That knotted us at 1 in the 22nd minute. And then it was Tayshawn Buchanan off the gorgeous feed from Hugo Del Hamel that has given the Orange lead they hold right now. Seufert turns away from pressure, looks far side to ease it. O'Malley with time and space, sending the cross down the far sideline, and Sondre Norheim protecting, steps over, and it's out of bounds. Mentioned this the 3rd meeting between these 2 clubs. Back in 2015, the Pride took a 2-1 victory. And in 2016, the Orange, right here at SU Soccer Stadium, with a 1-goal win. Etienne Bautier enters in the final stages of the half. So often we see coaches doing that, hoping to give the starters a bit of an extended halftime, if you will. Save some breaths for the second half.
And in a hot one today, especially with Syracuse rotating in a variety of players, something Coach McIntyre was looking to do already. This year he has the luxury, as he's mentioned, the depth of his attacking players. That's who he's mainly rotated, as the 2 Syracuse goal scorers are both on the bench in Buchanan and Sorley.
Raposo tries to flick it through, and it leads to a Johnson throw-in once again. Fed on and defended well, and the rush starts. Brown with back pressure, whistle. That was DeJamon Johnson, new substitution for Syracuse. He gets flat.
Johnson just trying to catch up at the back end of this play, and you see Brown pumps the brakes, feels him on his back. That's a smart play there from Luke Brown, the goal scorer on the penalty earlier for Hofstra. And that's an upperclassman type of move from the junior there. Being able to feel the defender on your backside, draw the foul, get your squad a free kick.
Fans seeing a good one so far in the Orange opener. Flicked on and dangerously close towards Hilpert. That off the head of an Orange defender. And the Pride will get their first look at a corner kick. Coach McIntyre pacing the sidelines. We were talking with him a few days ago. He was a bit concerned about his defense in regards to set pieces, how those played out in exhibitions and the weekend last week. We'll see how they defend the first one here. Swung in towards Hilpert. Headed out, and Del Hamel with a one-footed flick up out.
Del Hamel leaving no worries about that imminent danger there, just getting it out. Very veteran move from the senior.
Transferred from Lander University in South Carolina. This just his 2nd season under Coach McIntyre. Senior sporting that long orange beard that matches pretty well with the colors. Brown lets it go out. Back-to-back corner kicks now for the Pride.
Part of the reason Del Hamel maybe came to Syracuse, just to keep that coordination going, Dan.
Surely is convenient. Well, I'm not sure he's loving it right now. Temperatures hovering around the high 80s, low 90s for most of the day. And tons of blaring sunlight coming down on the SU campus. Marcus Lindqvist, the senior from Norway, Lefty sets it up appropriately on the corner. Syracuse leads 2-1 with 3:30 to go in the opening half. High lofting service in, dangerous, and floated away. Rubio getting the touch, making no mistake, the Liverpool native. Coach McIntyre in his 9th season at the helm of the Orange recorded 80 victories through those seasons and picked up that final one against Oregon State. As Hilpert will wait and catch. 80th win for McIntyre. Big time marker. Every single time you can tack on another 10. O'Malley down on his knees.
Raposo coming in low, trying to jump in the air. Easily out-jumped on that play. But Raposo in the end clipping in a little bit low. You see this ball, a really high restart, quick restart from Hendrik Hilpert at the back end. And that caused just a little bit of clipping on George O'Malley. For Hofstra, he appears to be up and okay.
Put towards Hilpert, up and out, headed on and in! The Pride has equalized once again. Sean Nealis, the senior defender, met Hilpert and beat him, and we're all knotted up at 2.
Just the second goal the Syracuse defense has allowed this season in the run of play, and it comes on a restart. Hilpert not quite able to get there. You see the service in from O'Malley, high arcer, and then it's the size of Hofstra, which Coach McIntyre emphasized to us earlier this week that he was concerned about for this team, and the size reigning true there for Hofstra, able to get a big head to it there for the Pride.
Tough goal to suffer for Syracuse. It comes with just over 2 minutes remaining in the half. They've now coughed up 2 leads through the opening 45 minutes of play.
And Nealis was someone who Coach McIntyre specifically was concerned about at 6'4", 185. And right there, those concerns coming to reality.
Played in the Hofstra end. Bautier will sit. As the Hofstra Pride make a few more substitutions in the final minutes. We've seen 4 goals in the Orange home opener. Fans seeing a lot of action. You'd have to think Coach McIntyre not so pleased with a couple of the exciting moments. Far sideline, Johnson. Carrying with speed. Back for Raposo. Heels it for Johnson. They play catch. Into the final minute we go of the first half. Raposo gets past one. Charging along the end line. Fighting off the pressure. John Austin Ricks. Volley into the box. And corralled. Ashton falls on it. You'd have to think Hofstra more than happy just to let these last seconds tick out and head into the locker room scoreless.
Definitely, after conceding twice, to go in and come back twice, Hofstra easily content to ease this one into halftime, not let the Orange put the pedal to the metal again.
Into the box, but offsides is Brown. And that should just about do it in the final 10. Syracuse scores in the 14th minute. Luke Brown responds with the penalty kick. Buchanan answers. And once again, the Pride have fought back. The defender, Sean Nealis, brings us even at 2 as we go into the halftime break.